my hairline. So for today's video, I'm gonna be wearing a hat. It's okay, we're gonna roll with the punches. But you guys responded so well to my last video about the artist way and how Doja inspired me to read that book. So I want to continue that book review and artist inspiration series and talk about another book that has inspired me and changed my way of thinking of how I connect with my audience and how I go about building community around my art. So for today's chat, we are going to be reviewing and talking about Resonate by Alex Wolff. And again, this is a book for people who really want to understand how to build an audience and create those genuine connections. This was a book that I read, I think in October, November timeframe of 2024, but it was super timely because I wanted to basically up level what it is that I'm doing with my music when it comes to promotion. So a lot of my older promotional videos, I was so busy chasing a number. I wanted to have like a high follower count. I wanted to have all these likes, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. I have to be authentically myself. And I had a thought, if I was this like fake cookie cutter person of what people expect me to be, I'm gonna attract the wrong audience and I had to keep up that facade for the rest of my career. And I don't want to do that. I want people to be attracted to my personality and who I am as a person. This is AJ. Take me for who I am. If you don't like me, so be it, that's fine. If you like me, welcome on in. I'm gonna attract who I'm supposed to attract. I want to build a community of like-minded people, artists, dreamers, of just down-to-earth niggas that with me, with my music, and just uplift each other. I don't want any negativity. It also got me to think of the different artists that I've been inspired to be a super fan of. Who immediately comes to mind is both Doja Cat and Kendrick Lamar. I've been following Doja for years. There's something about her personality, her songs that drew me to her, that resonated with me, that struck a chord, that made me want to sit down and pay a little bit more attention to her. So much so that whenever she went on live, I dropped whatever it was I was doing and watched her on Instagram Live making beats in her bedroom or just freaking lollygagging around her house. The more that I watched her videos and the more that I saw the behind the scenes of what she was doing to build her empire, I was all like, yo, this is inspiring. I see myself in her. I loved her I don't give a attitude. And she's partly the reason why I decided to start making music and taking it seriously. Seeing her literally produce hits from her bedroom to the Grammy stage to where she's at now, that inspires you, touches you, especially as an artist. And I'm like, hey, I could do this too. And throughout everything that she does, she's unapologetically herself. No matter how weird or how cringe you may perceive it, that's who she is, and she's sticking true to that. If my nose looks super red, that's because I'm constantly scratching it. I think I may have a reaction to a skincare product that I was using. But it's okay. We're gonna power through. And Kung Fu Kenny, K. Kendrick Lamar. Where do I start? Where do I begin? That man is a freaking genius. Say, Drake, I hear like him young. Like he's a menace. He's a menace. Ultimate petty king. I love that shit. But Kendrick is another example of being his true authentic self through his lyrics, through his artistry, performance, all of that. Kendrick gonna represent his community. He's gonna uplift us. Like, I with that so hard. I first heard him back when his Good Kid, Mad City album. Hooked on it. Loved that he was from LA too. You know, LA, we gotta represent. Like, I think about his album, Damn. It was telling a story from beginning to end and from end to beginning, depending on how you listen to it. Like, that type of just scratches my brain in all the right places. And he never gives in to gimmicks, to sell records or any of that stuff. He's about his art, and that comes across tremendously in his music. And so I look up to that like, he the shit. And that's another reason why I'm gonna be 10 toes down with him. Being able to establish that connection, turn a stranger into a fan, that is a skill that is going to be necessary for me in my growth. I feel like I get so concerned and wrapped up into these vanity metrics of like number of likes and like how many followers I have. And it took me a long time to kind of break out of that way of thinking. I still have it, but not to the degree that I've had in the past. Right now, I know that I just need to continue to work when no one is watching, continue to put myself out there. I do have a story that a lot of people can learn from. And hell, I'm being forged right now and built up to get to that next level in my career. And haters can say whatever the they want to say. I know that I have the audacity to chase my dreams, and them motherfuckers at home ain't doing shit but sitting on their ass wishing to have a better life, and they too scared to go after it. I ain't scared to go after it. I ain't scared, motherfucker. I just had to let that out. But I got love for my LA people. Doja representing Tarzana, Kendrick representing Compton, AJ representing Inglewood, always up to no good, baby. But yeah, I had to throw that in there, Inglewood all day. But yes, I was blabbing on a lot, right? But that's good. So let's dive into a little bit more of the teachings of Miss Alex Wolf and Resonate. Resonance is all about frequency. And if your message is on the same wavelength as an individual, then congratulations, you made an impact. And emotionally resonant messages make a huge impact. It causes people to physically move. It just stirs up something inside of us that just says, hey, we need to get out here and do XYZ for this person. And we see it all the time, from our favorite influencers to like historical figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was so passionate that he influenced so many people to fight for what is right, to fight for the rights of Black people and colored people everywhere. It's some powerful shit. And what's even more powerful about these types of emotional resonant messages is that they never die. Martin died all the way back when, but nowadays we're still quoting him. We're still using his message as strength to push for the rights of people everywhere. Oh, my nose is red as hell. I look like Rudolph. But these messages really make us feel heard. We always have a need to be understood, and when someone does this correctly, it's a reflection on you and I as individuals. And as we build this community together, that's something that I'm keeping at the forefront of my mind. How can I foster a community that is open, not judgmental, and that's filled with genuine human beings? That really starts with me being my true authentic self. I want you to see me for who I am. I want to create encounters that stick. That's the key thing. These frequencies that I'm sending to you is clicking something in your brain that says, hey, I like this guy, or hey, I don't like this guy. Whatever emotional response that generates within you, that means that I'm doing my job right, for good or bad. And the more that you see me, the more that we interact with each other, we're evolving together. Our relationship is evolving. We're building and expanding our community. We are all remaining true to who we are. And that's genuine people on the same wavelength. And these are people who are dreamers. These are people who want to do something creative with their lives. Down to earth human beings who treat others with kindness and respect and love. And these are people who know how to have a good time, who know how to laugh, make jokes, and celebrate life. So that's what we're building here through this YouTube channel, through my music, through who I am. And I think that goes back to the core need that we all have of community, just being surrounded by like-minded people that you. We're all looking for that. That's the human experience. I used to be so afraid of how I would be perceived. It took a lot of unlearning to get past that. But at the end of the day, life is too short. We don't have time to care what people think about ourselves. I'm not gonna dim my light for someone else. That just does a huge disservice to me. I ain't about that life. So I'm gonna be who the hell it is I am. I embrace it. I love it. In chapters 3 through 4, this is where Alex talks about our short attention spans. Since we live in the day and age of TikTok and these short form video content platforms, our attention spans have condensed. And that's so true with music, because we see these quote unquote TikTok songs or whatever. They're like a minute long. They follow a very specific formula to maintain your attention. And that's fine, that's great. But at the same time, we still need music that doesn't necessarily follow a cookie cutter formula. Our soul is looking for something much more deeper. That's why we just constantly scroll. We're on the search to find something that's going to speak to our soul. And I ain't trying to be too philosophical, but that's what it is. And that's what Alex was talking about. We have a human need for belonging and relatability. And once you understand that as a creator, you can build the most beautiful community there is out there. This is what builds nations. Look at Cleopatra and Nefertiti. They had their things going on. They had them men falling at their feet. They was building nations. They had that influence. And it takes time to understand. Like, I'm still figuring it out, but I'm a hell of a lot better at it than what I was like a year ago. It takes time. Rome wasn't built overnight. The work to build a genuine community takes a lot of consistency and patience. We can't get wrapped up in all these superficial metrics. We use numbers for measurement and not for self-worth. And when you think about it, we can be some lonely motherfuckers. Especially in this digital age and post-COVID, I feel like it forced a lot of people to find community through online and digital connections. I mean, that's why Stan Twitter is thriving. You find people with similar interests. Y'all become internet friends over the years. It's a sense of belonging. And as an artist, once you've built that strong fan base, they'll do any and everything for you. And yes, I do be on Stan Twitter and I see what goes on. I know at least whenever Doja drops some new shit, we're gonna be streaming the hell out of it. We're gonna be promoting it like we're on her marketing team. When Kendrick drops some new music, we're gonna be streaming the hell out of it. We're gonna be making memes out of it, promoting that shit. But Kendrick, because we believe in him, we're on the same wavelength. And it's so damn important to know that as an artist, you have a story that people need to hear. The things that you've been through in your life is just preparing you for the next step of your journey. So don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because that's what people are going to fall in love with. That's what people are going to get inspiration from. I mean, that's what Doja and Kenny did. And hey, look at me. I'm streaming the hell out of their shit. I love them in their artistry. And they didn't make me stream their music or buy their concert tickets or any of that. They made me feel something. They made me feel seen. They made me feel heard through their music and how they carry themselves. And I see myself in them. They're reflections of who I am, or at least how I perceive that they are. I can relate to it. But y'all get what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, as an artist, you're gonna have haters. I know I got some people talking crazy in my comments, but the number of people that spread hate on my page or whatever is so small compared to the people that show me love. Y'all on YouTube are showing me so much love each and every day. My Instagram family, TikTok family, Twitter folks, y'all showing me love. You are supporting me and my crazy little dreams. Like, I love y'all down so much for that shit. That means everything to me. And so I'm gonna keep it moving, I'm gonna keep it rolling. But regardless if the reaction is positive or negative, a reaction is a reaction at the end of the day. Whatever I did inspired you so much to comment. I've done my job. Alex also talks about entertainment versus art. When we think of entertainment, it's a band-aid. Now compared to art, art is medicine. People who chase virality, is that a word? Virality. It's gonna be a word. But people who are like overly wrapped up into that shit, you can smell the bullshit from a mile away, and it just doesn't connect with people in the longer term. They're just gonna fade out because they're just chasing a fad. I know I ain't trying to chase no fads. I'm trying to build a legacy. I'm trying to build a strong foundation, which is why in each and everything that I do, I want to create art. I want to create moments. I want to create those encounters. I always have been a creative. I've always wanted to build worlds. When I was a kid, I used to connect Hot Wheel tracks together and build up Legos and Lincoln Logs and create these mini cities. And ain't much changed as an adult. With my visuals, I like to create worlds. With Xanadu, I created this whole like futuristic jungle Afrofuturism thing. When I create songs too, I'm creating worlds. I'm creating moments. And that's what I care about. That's what's gonna build a legacy at the end of the day. And just like Doja and just like Kendrick, there's a reason why they stand out amongst their peers. They focus on the art. And just think about it. You know when an artist focuses on the art versus pure entertainment. Ones that focus on pure entertainment all the time, they don't last. It's the artists that focus on the art. Those are the legends in the making. Those are the legends and icons. Skipping ahead a bit, Alex talks about the 4 elements of resonance, and that's honesty, vulnerability, accuracy, and passion. Real artists have the audacity to be honest in their work and everything that they do. They don't care how they're being perceived. They're putting themselves out there and speaking about that they know about. When I do a song, I'm not going to be talking about selling kilos and and how I grew up in the trap and stuff like that. I didn't. I'm a suburban kid. I know nothing about that life, so I'm not gonna rap about it. I'm not gonna sing about it because that's just not my life experience. I'm gonna let people who grew up in that environment or experienced that, I'm gonna let them speak on that because that's their testimony, that's their story. I'm not gonna jump into their territory. So just be truthful, because again, people could smell out bullshit from a mile away. And with honesty comes vulnerability, being open to the possibility of pain. So like you're exposing yourself, you're showing the world your scars, what you've been through, you know, whether good or bad, whether you're embarrassed about something or whatever. The fact that you're being vulnerable and just sharing your message, that comes across so greatly for the viewer. Vulnerability for me is getting on this camera and just speaking, doing something that I never thought I would be able to do, being able to talk about my layoff experience and how I am focused on being a full-time creative and building a career out of my art. Like, people can attack that left and right, and they have in the past. I just got a comment on Instagram the other day talking about, so like, your music is ass, you're unemployed, like, why don't you just say that, loser? Like, you at the end of the day. I'm sorry. But yeah, I have to be willing to expose myself to that type of vitriol. And that's okay. I mean, that comes with the territory. I know I'm stronger than what a motherfucker got to say in Idaho. Anyway, but real things scare people. Real things put a magnifying glass on reality. It can make us feel uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, it makes us feel heard. And that's super important. So again, your story is your testimony. People want to hear about the good, the bad, the indifferent. Whatever you're going through is going to help the next person out there. The 3rd element is all about accuracy. Accuracy forces us to embrace things as we see them. So she made an analogy about Jay-Z, how she's a super fan and she feels like he isn't rapping to her, but rather through her. And you can replace Jay-Z with your favorite artist. You feel like that artist is speaking through you. They're speaking on a shared experience, a shared feeling. They're not telling you, they're showing you. When Doja says, I said what I said, I feel like I'm saying that shit. I'm saying that shit in my chest. Like, everybody can relate to that when someone is just like testing them to their limits, twisting their words like, that, I said what I said. And that accuracy describes sometimes what's indescribable for us and puts a lens on the deeper part of us. And if Doja would have said something like, I tell the truth, yes, I tell the truth, that wouldn't hit. It's all about evoking a feeling like, bitch, I said what I said. That gets you to pay attention. That gets you to be all like, you know what? I said what I said too. So it's just tapping into that deeper part. And the 4th element is passion. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. When a person is super excited about what they're doing, what they're speaking about, that passion is contagious. That gets on you and you're like, hey, that I really like that and I want to support that. I see that person doing this and that inspires me to do that. Passion is contagious. Be fucking passionate in everything that you do, people. Please. But that's what I try to do with my art. with these videos, with my music. At the end of the day, music and creation is my passion. It's my life force. Like, I get so much fulfillment of doing this. I know there's going to be a day where I could get paid for this. And cool, money is great. I got bills to pay, so don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I do this for the love. Passion is energy. So those 4 elements are things that I keep in mind as I continue to put myself out there and cultivate a community around my brand and my art. And Alex also talks about the power of yapping. We want people to yap endlessly about us. There's power in yapping. Anybody that knows me knows that I can yap about Doja for days, Kendrick for days, Doja for days, Tyler the Creator for days, Tomb Raider for days, LA for days. But when you get people to yap about you, your talents and whatever it is you're doing, you have truly resonated with them. That passion, that honesty, that accuracy, that vulnerability that you're exhibiting is contagious. It gets people to move, gets them to feel something. And again, you can't make anyone do anything, but you can make them feel something. And that's what I wholeheartedly learned through this book and just life experience. You got to make people feel. And Alex makes it a point that don't freak out when all you hear are whispers in the beginning. It takes some time to build community, build an audience, but at the end of the day, you just got to be consistent. You got to continue to show up for yourself, and you have to be authentically you. I'm unique. I have certain talents and abilities that are unique to me, and I just need to continue to tap into that, continue to be true to my core and my values as a person. And that's going to carry me so far. I'm thankful for the connections that I'm building and the support and love that I'm getting for doing what I'm doing and just being my authentic self. And I'm so proud of the community that we're building together. And in reading this book, it made it so evident that you shouldn't concern yourself with being liked. And my message that I'm putting forward is a reflection of my audience. And I want that message to make them feel proud of who they are and crystal clear of who they are. I'm a mirror that's reflecting, that amplifies what people think of themselves. And this mirror has a story. I don't know if that was the best analogy, but y'all get what I'm saying. So all in all, I think there were a lot of gems and wisdom in here that I'm applying in my own creative journey. And Alex, she ain't new to this, she true to this. She built a hugely successful Instagram, had all these followers, this crazy engagement in less than a year. Brands and companies have reached out to her to understand how they can better resonate. Like, she's a badass. She knows what the hell she's talking about. And I'm just soaking up all the wisdom that she's put in this book. And I hope that you pick up this book too. Because if you're an artist like me, or you want to go down this creator influencer route, then you need to understand how to resonate with people, how to connect and build an audience. We're all looking for belonging at the end of the day. So focus on building a community that is true to who you are as a person, and the right people will show up. I'm gonna make shit that matters to me. I work in affirmation. I don't work for affirmation. Listen to that again. I work in affirmation, not for affirmation. I don't need approval from anyone but myself and God, the universe, that I am talented and that I am worthy to live out my dreams. So take it, food for thought, chew on it, marinate. But I hope you learned something from this, and I hope that you pick up Resonate by Alex Wolf. And yeah, thank you, Alex, for writing this book. Thank you, Doja Cat, for always inspiring me. And Kendrick Lamar, thank you too for being who the hell you are as a GOAT.